All right, thank you everyone for joining us online and in attendance. We are going to go ahead and get started with the presentation here in just a minute. If everyone could make their way over to the presentation, I'll have Claudia, our project manager, kick things off for us.
The time is 6 p.m. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pembroke Road Roadway Improvement Project public meeting. My name is Claudia Vinitsky-Calvo. I am the project manager with the Florida Department of Transportation. This evening, I am joined with Kevin Iannarone, the consultant project manager, and Amanda Ashby, the moderator. Ricardo Gutierrez from the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization representative was not able to attend today in person. Our team will be available to answer questions during the question and answer session following the presentation. I will now turn it over to our presenter.
All right, thanks, Claudia. And before we get started with the rest of the presentation, I'd like to recognize any elected or appointed officials that are in attendance. In addition to Carl Kennedy from Pembroke Pines and Nedwin St. Louis representing Marie Woodson, our state representative. Are there any other elected or appointed officials in attendance, either online or in person, that would like to make themselves known?
June is Safe Summer Travel Month. It is FDOT's mission for both residents and visitors to reach their destination safely. FDOT encourages drivers to ensure their vehicles are road ready, to use patience while traveling, and to never drive impaired. Together, we can ensure all those on the road can enjoy a safe and pleasant summer. This public meeting is being conducted in a hybrid format to provide multiple ways for the public to receive information about the project and provide input. It is being conducted in person, virtually through GoToWebinar, and over the phone. If you dialed in today on a telephone line, the PowerPoint presentation is available on the project webpage at https://tinyurl.com/Pembroke Road. For online participants, the GoToWebinar control panel should be visible in the upper right corner of your computer screen. If joining GoToWebinar on your mobile device, simply tap the screen to display the same options. The blue arrows in both images point to where you will find the questions box. You may type a comment or question into the questions box. Then click Send to submit your comment or question to staff. The red arrows in both images point to where you may find handouts, documents, and comment forms for this meeting. Click the handout icons to see available handouts. Click on the file name to download. If you happen to experience a technical issue during this meeting, type the issue in the questions box on the control panel on GoToWebinar to report it. You may also email our moderator, Amanda Ashby, at publicinvolvement@inwoodinc.com. That's one word, publicinvolvement@inwoodinc.com, to report it. You may also call 321-587-4324 for help. Staff will do their best to assist you. We encourage your input and feedback about this project. All public comments and questions are part of the meeting public record, and every method for providing public comments and questions carries equal weight. While comments and questions will be accepted at any time, those submitted by Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, 14 days after the public meeting, will become part of the meeting public record. A recording of this presentation will be posted on the project's webpage within 1 week following the meeting. There are multiple ways to provide comments and questions tonight. Following the presentation, we will open up the floor for any questions or comments to be addressed by the project team. For those in attendance at the in-person location, you may speak to our staff on the floor during the open house portions of the meeting. You may also offer your comments at the microphone. Please see a staff member for a speaker card if you have not already done so. If you are participating online, you may submit written questions or comments in the questions box on the GoToWebinar control panel. Staff will read your questions aloud to be answered. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting Sharon Singhajian, District 4 Title VI Coordinator, by mail at 3400 West Commercial Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida 33309, by phone at 954-777-4190, or email at sharon.singhadjian@dot.state.fl.us. You may also contact Stefan Kulikowski, State Title VI Coordinator, by mail at 605 Sewanee Street, Mail Station 65, Tallahassee, Florida 32399, 0450, by phone at 850-414-4742, or email at stefan.kulikowski@dot.state.fl.us. This information is shown on a sign at the in-person location and in the meeting notifications. This meeting was advertised in the Florida Administrative Register, on FDOT's Public Notices website, the South Florida Sun Sentinel, on social media, and on the project webpage. In addition, adjacent property owners, interested individuals, elected and appointed officials, and government agencies were also notified about this meeting. The Broward MPO, or the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization, is involved with funding and planning transportation projects in the Broward region. State dollars are being used for this project. The MPO is governed by a board which consists of elected officials from 31 municipalities, Broward County School Board, and the South Florida Transportation Authority. The MPO develops plans, conducts studies, and establishes various programs related to transportation and mobility. The need for improvements to Pembroke Road is identified in the Broward 2040 Long Range Transportation Plan, or LRTP. The plan's objectives are to enhance the movement of people and goods, to create jobs and strengthen communities. The objectives for the improvements to Pembroke Road are to address the concerns expressed in the LRTP by improving multimodal connectivity along the corridor, relieving congestion, providing safety enhancements, and improving ADA access. This roadway improvement project is located along Pembroke Road from Douglas Road, Southwest 89th Avenue, to State Road 817, University Drive. The purpose of the project is to improve multimodal connectivity, relieve congestion, enhance safety, and improve ADA access. The project proposes to widen the corridor from the existing 4 lanes to 6 lanes. In addition to providing bicycle and pedestrian accommodations, there will be upgrades to the corridor lighting and to the drainage system. The signal at the Pembroke Road and Jody Lane intersection will be upgraded to mast arms, and pedestrian signals will be replaced at both Jody Lane and Douglas Road. A noise wall will also be constructed on the north side of the roadway from Southeast 87th Way to Southwest 86th Avenue. The existing roadway includes 4 12-foot travel lanes, separated by a median, which varies in width from 10 feet to 30 feet, and is at times raised with curb and gutter. Existing sidewalks along the project area vary from 5 feet to 6 feet on the south side of the roadway and 6 feet on the north side of the roadway. There is an existing 8-foot noise wall on the south side of the roadway that is maintained by the city of Miramar, and the posted speed limit is 45 miles per hour. The proposed typical section has 6 11-foot travel lanes, 3 in each direction. The travel lanes are separated by a raised median, which varies from 19.5 feet to 22 feet. 11-foot sidewalks will be constructed on both sides of the roadway and will be separate and raised from the roadway by curb and gutter. The wide sidewalks will be delineated for both pedestrian and bicycle use. The right-of-way requirements vary, with a maximum requirement of 16 additional feet on the north side. Looking at an aerial view of the proposed design, the median opening in front of 87th Way will be converted from a full to a directional opening. This means eastbound left turns onto 87th Way will still be allowed, but southbound to eastbound left turns from 87th Way will be restricted. To travel east on Pembroke Road, vehicles exiting 87th Way will need to U-turn at Douglas Road. The existing signal at Jody Lane will be updated to a mast arm signal. Notice the on-street bike lanes begin and end west of Douglas Road. With this proposed improvement, bicyclists will transition to and from the on-street bike lane to the bike lane delineated on the sidewalk via the provided bike ramps. A noise wall will be constructed along the north side of the project from southeast 87th Way to southwest 86th Avenue. Continuing to the east, you will see the right-of-way impacts end just west of the future assisted living facility, which is currently under construction. Access management changes are again implemented, converting the existing full openings at Point Siena Drive and the assisted living facility to eastbound directional openings. Once again, this means eastbound left turns in are allowed and southbound to eastbound exits are restricted. U-turns for eastbound traffic are accommodated at the Jody Lane signal. This reduces conflict points, requires drivers to monitor only one direction of traffic at a time, and provides protected U-turns, improving safety. The eastbound bike lane transitions back to an on-street bike lane east of the Walmart truck entrance. The westbound on-street bike lane ends west of the DMV and transitions riders to the bicycle lane delineated on the sidewalk. A noise study completed in January 2024 for the design year 2047 concluded an 8-foot-tall noise barrier located along the westbound lanes of Pembroke Road between Southwest 87th Way and Southwest 86th Avenue would be a feasible and reasonable noise abatement alternative for noise-impacted residences in Cinnamon Ridge Estates and Honeywood. A noise survey was sent to the impacted residents, and the residents voted in favor of the wall, thus it will be included. Noise impacts were also found at Ferzano Park, Cinnamon Place Park, and the walking trail at Southwest Hammocks in the design year 2047. However, a noise barrier for these sites does not meet FDOT's criteria to be considered for noise abatement. The project team examined the project area for publicly owned properties that may be affected under Section 4F of the Department of Transportation Act of 1966. The project is adjacent to Cinnamon Place Park, which is a Section 4F protected property under 23 Code of Federal Regulations, Section 774.17. This design project proposes minor impacts to and/or land acquisition from Cinnamon Place Park, meaning the department proposes to take right-of-way from the resource to complete the project. Since these impacts are minor, FDOT intends to pursue a de minimis determination for this property. FDOT is asking for the public's input on the proposed impacts to Cinnamon Place Park. Construction is funded and scheduled to begin in fall 2027. Construction is estimated to be completed in summer 2030. The estimated construction cost is $12.6 million. Construction will be completed in 3 primary phases to reduce impact to the community. 2 travel lanes will be maintained in each direction, except during allowable lane closure times, when at least 1 lane in each direction will be maintained. The allowable lane closure times are currently 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. Night work will be approved on a case-by-case basis to minimize construction noise. Access to properties will be maintained at all times. Pedestrian detours will be utilized to maintain access to the corridor during construction. The department anticipates completion of this design project in spring 2026. The project schedule is on display this evening. Again, we encourage your input and feedback about this project. All public comments and questions are part of the meeting public record, and every method for providing public comments and questions carries equal weight. While comments and questions will be accepted at any time, those submitted by Tuesday, July 9th, 2024, 14 days after the public meeting, will become part of the meeting public record. This public meeting is being recorded. The The recording will be posted on the project's webpage within 1 week following the meeting. Following the live comment period tonight, you may also submit comments and questions in multiple ways. At the in-person location, you may fill out a printed comment form and drop it in the comment box provided, or return it to project staff. You may also email your comments and questions to FDOT Project Manager Claudia Vitnitsky-Calvo at claudia.vitnitsky-calvo@dot.state.fl.us. You may mail written comments and questions to Ms. Vitnitsky-Calvo at the Florida Department of Transportation, 3400 West Commercial Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33309. The contact information is also available on the meeting notification that you may have received by mail and on the project website. Following this meeting and during normal business hours, you may also call the project manager, Claudia Vitnitsky-Calvo, at 954-777-4476 to provide oral comments. All contact information is available on the public meeting flyer that you may have received by mail and is shown here. Contact information is also available on the project website. We will now turn it over to our moderator for the public comment portion of the public meeting. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes to allow everyone time to speak.
Thank you, everyone. For my attendees online, if you would like to, you can download a copy of the flyer and the typical sections and roll plot aerial board that are on display at the in-person public meeting tonight. Those are all under the handouts drop down of this GoToWebinar. Do we have any speaker request cards at the venue?
Yes, Amanda, we have one speaker request card at this time.
Okay, all right. If you'd like to go ahead and call them up, we can get started.
Can we have Stephen Card to the microphone, please? You would please state your name and address before you make your comment.
Sure. Thank you for taking care of the microphone. I didn't want to look foolish. Stephen Card, 1120 Southwest 87th Avenue in Pembroke Pines. So I had a couple of questions. I'm here for myself as well as president of Honeywood's Homeowners Association, Cinnamon Ridge. What was the means of notification of the meeting? Because the first we heard of it was today from Carl Kennedy, who sent me an email, and I spoke with 3 of my 5 board members. They didn't know about it either.
There was a mail out that occurred. Sorry. Hi, Mr. Card. Good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you.
There was a mail out that occurred. Do you know off the top of your head when we did that mail out, or Anna or Amanda, are you able to look that up? Yeah. It was a
I know our post office isn't always the most good, for lack of a better word, or able to get things out to us, but 3 out of 5 board members not being noticed doesn't make any sense. In addition to the 3 out of 5 board members, the other 2 I couldn't reach. The Landmark, who is our agent, was not notified. And they surely should have been, because the public right of way or the land that's there is Honeywood's. So that's right on top of this mess. And they didn't get noticed either. So we are going to look further into proper notification. I may have missed it in the presentation, but I noticed when they had, if we could put up the slide that showed the turning lane coming out of 87th heading west, saying that the only way to come out of that would be to go west and make a U-turn at Douglas Road.
You could do that, or you could go out through the community to Douglas proper, or you could come out through the signal at Jody Lane.
Okay, could we put that up? Because how far do people have coming out 87 to cross over all those lanes of traffic to be able to get to that U-turn without being in an accident?
They can look for a gap and make their exit when they're ready, or they can come out of Jody Lane at a protected signal.
Okay, so it doesn't look like very far. The traffic study at our last gathering, we asked the question if it took into account the traffic that's expected from this new development that's underway by the Chevron station. The answer we got at the time was no. Has that been taken into account? And as well, the impact of the new facility to our east.
So the new facility to the east was looked at and responded to. It won't have any impact. And Janie, I believe you're on the line. Can you help us with Mr. Card's question regarding the
Yes,
intersection of Douglas?
we did evaluate a certain number of vehicles coming out of the new development east of Chevron. We took into consideration that some of those vehicles are going to go north on Douglas and some are going to go west on Pembroke Road into our traffic analysis.
Okay. And at the time of our last meeting, the answer was no, they had not. As a matter of fact, we said we had Dunkin' Donuts going in there. The person that responded to us at that meeting did not know that that was happening. So that was concerning. The facility to our east, the answer that we were given at that last meeting was it won't impact you much because most of the traffic's going to go out on University, which I found to be a far cry for a valid answer, because why would they go all the way up University if they are right sitting on top of Pembroke Road? So we looked at that impact.
Sorry, was there a question?
Have we looked at that impact further?
Yes, we have. And there was an email sent to you and the HOA. We can dig that back up again.
Okay. All right. So the updated traffic study or whatever one was that sent to the attorney's office at their request because they didn't have it prior to the last meeting so they could ask questions?
I'm not aware of any requests, but public requests are honored. So if you sent a public request, then we provided.
The attorneys did, actually, at that meeting, they asked for it. So we'll follow that up with a request for this recording. The wall maintenance, because now I hear we are doing the wall on the north side, yes? Even though I noticed the picture didn't show it. Who bears the responsibility of the wall maintenance?
That's still being worked out.
Okay, when do we expect an answer to that?
We're coordinating with the city and with DOT right-of-way staff. When we have an answer, we'd be happy to give it to you.
Okay, and I heard in the recording, and this one I might have missed, that there was talk about land acquisition in front of Pembroke Place Park. I did not hear about land acquisition west of Jody Lane. Is that still the expectation?
West of Jody Lane, yes.
Between 87th and Jody?
That's what's required in order to build the road.
That's what I thought, and I didn't hear it mentioned in the presentation. I'll go back and listen to it, but I just wanted to.
It's in there, and it's also represented on the typical sections.
Okay. Do we know when that discussion is up for, as far as, I know you guys were doing land eval, we'll have to do land eval and all that?
You're asking when negotiations and when you'll be contacted?
Yeah, ballpark, if we know.
Do you have an answer on that?
Yeah, we're currently going over the schedule, but yes, we're currently going over the schedule, but we anticipate in the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay. Okay. I think that's it. I appreciate the answers.
All right, thank you. Anna, do we have any other speaker cards turned in at the in-person venue so far?
No other cards at this time in person.
Okay, at this time, I do not have any comments from any online attendees. If you're online and you'd like to make a comment, I just put in the chat box where you can leave any questions or comments and I can read them aloud for the panelists to answer. All right, and anyone at the in-person venue that would like to speak that hasn't filled out a speaker card?
We do have one. Please just state your name and address before you make your comment.
Yes, hello, I'm Tom Good. So I'm listening to some of the conversation you all are having with the HOA representative. So this is a PD&E. This is a design.
Yes, sir.
So does tonight, if there are no comments made after the 14 days, does that mean that if conversation that seem are not finished yet, don't meet a successful ending, does that allow for additional comment then? Or what you plan to design? Because I'm hearing that you're going to have a conversation potentially about land acquisition, correct?
There is land acquisition required, yes, sir.
And if the land acquisition conversation doesn't come to a successful closure, what's the next process?
Hey, so I'm Dan Marwood. I'm with the right-of-way office. We follow the standard guidelines set forth in the state of Florida statutes. We actively negotiate with any property owner to come to a negotiated settlement. But should we not be successful in that, we go through the condemnation route, in which we will pursue the property through eminent domain.
Okay. So again, I come back to if you meet your 14 days and you have no additional comment, does that mean that this moves forward as an approved or your preferred approved, or does it get submitted to the state for approval in order to move forward to make the commitment of the dollars to the project? Is that what today meeting does?
So Claudia Venezia-Calvo, I'm the project manager for FDOT. So we do have funding currently. The point of this meeting is to get public input. We are at 60% plans currently. And so if we don't have any objections, we would continue with the design up until production, including the right-of-way process in between. Even though the window for comments in order to be recorded at this meeting is the 14 days, you can always reach out to me with my contact information throughout the phase of the project. Also, once it goes to construction, we will have another construction public outreach meeting. So that's the process that we follow.
Okay. And the last question, in terms of the park, there's a land dedication by the owner of the park. Who would that be?
I don't have that information readily available. I do know that I have seen it, and we do have record of it. We can get that information to you, after this meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I do have one comment online. For the proposed changes, how would the proposed changes alleviate the congestion that was stated in the presentation? I will share the board.
Yeah, so the project is adding additional capacity in the form of through lanes. So today you have 4 lanes of travel, 2 in each direction. Following the improvements, you'll have 3 in each direction. We are also improving safety by modifying the access management, reducing conflict points. So that's how you're going to see the benefit. We are also adding in accommodations for bicycles, pedestrians, and coordinating with the local transit to improve the transit stops along the corridor as well. So it's a benefit for all users.
All right, thank you, Kevin. At this time, we do not have any other online comments, and I'll just confirm there's no other in-person comments.
That's correct. No other in-person comments unless last call, anyone? No other comments here.
Okay, and just a reminder, you can always, following the meeting, you can always submit any comments or questions here. Let me pull the slide up. Any comments or questions to Claudia? Here we go. I've got her contact information on the screen. So Claudia Vitnitsky-Calvo at dot.state.fl.us. You could also mail in your comment, call and leave a verbal comment, or visit the project website to provide comments. So all of those are methods that you can do. And as Claudia mentioned, comments are accepted and considered throughout the whole life of the project. For this specific public meeting, to go on record for it is July 9th, but you can of course submit comments at any time and they will be given consideration. And with that being said, on behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation, thank you for attending this public meeting and providing your input on the proposed improvements. If you have any comments or questions after the public meeting, please submit them by July 9th. Contact information or recording of tonight's presentation, project documents, and other exhibits will be posted on the project website. Thank you again and have a good evening.